up? Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, I'm Diana. I'm the creator of Money Boss Mama, and I often get questions about my sinking funds. So how many sinking funds I have, what my sinking funds are for, how much I have in them. So I decided to sit down and go through every single one of my sinking funds with you, and hopefully it gives you a good idea of maybe like what sinking funds that you want to set up for yourself. But I won't make this intro super long, so let's go ahead and get into the video. All right, so sinking fund number one is like a must-have for me because my car is old. She's about to hit 200,000 miles, and I know that she's going to require a lot of upkeep. So yes, I have a sinking fund for car repairs and maintenance, such as oil changes, headlight changes, all of that good stuff, new batteries. And right now I currently have most of my sinking funds with an app called Digit. I am not going to promote Digit because Digit has upped their price to $5 per month, but it was a really neat app, and it still is. I just don't like the fact that, you know, there's a high cost to it, or I think $5 is high every single month just to have it put your money into separate funds when you can do that through Ally buckets, as I've shared in another video. But right now I do have them in Digit. I'm going to move them over to Ally here soon. But when you see the phone pop up on the screen, that is what I'm using for most of my sinking funds. Currently, I do have $424 in my Digit sinking fund, and I do have an additional $249 in my bills account. And the reason why they're in two separate places is just because I don't feel like transferring it over. Digit only allows you to connect one bank account, and that bank account, my money for my bills account does not go into that one, so I would have to transfer it from account to account to account just to get it over into my Digit account. So I have a portion of my paycheck going for auto repairs. It's about $30 per paycheck, so $60 a month, and I put that aside, and most of that goes into my bills account. But then when I get additional money, or you know, a tax refund or something, then I will transfer that money over into Digit. So that's why Digit has the $424 in that right now. But I do have some repairs coming up soon, so it is going to get knocked down a little bit. But I do just put back a little bit of money each time so that whenever it's time for me to get an oil change or anything, I am already ready to go. The next sinking fund that I have is for graduation gifts. So my youngest little brother and my younger sister, they are both graduating from high school this year, and I wanted to give them, this was a wishful thinking now that I think about it, I wanted to give them $500 each, so $1,000. Graduation is coming up in May, and I only have about $38 in my sinking fund, so obviously that's not going to happen. I really don't know what I was thinking when I said that I was going to give them $500 each. I guess because I was debt free, I was on a debt free high, and sis did not realize that she was not going to have as much spendable income as she thought, because my goals came back to back. So $100 each, $200 sounds more doable, so we're just gonna do that. So if you guys see me not contributing what I usually do in my down payment rental property updates, that's why, because I need to get the sinking fund fully funded before May. My third sinking fund is for daycare or private school. My son, he is not eligible for the regular pre-K programs because I made over the minimum amount, so I do have to put him in a private school for pre-K because I just want him to be prepared before he goes to kindergarten. And the private school, it's about $375 a month for a full day, so from like 7 something to 6 o'clock p.m. So it's really not that bad of a price when I looked into it, and that's pretty much what I'm paying for daycare. So I set up a sinking fund just to absorb the excess that I would be paying out each month, since it is a little bit more than what I'm currently paying for daycare. So right now I have $1,090 in this childcare sinking fund, and I did get this amount from my stimulus check, I believe, and my tax refund, or it may have been my tax refund and my bonus, I'm not quite sure, not remembering, but it was from the extra money. And this way, whenever it's time for the payment every single month, I will just pull the portion that I will need and have him paid up that way. My fourth sinking fund is for my Roth IRA. And I know a lot of people, they're like, do I pay off debt? Do I save? Do I invest while I'm paying off debt? Do I fund my emergency fund? It's like all these things that we feel like we have to do at once. But one thing I will say, it will depend on, of course, your risk tolerance. It's going to depend on your comfort level, where you are financially. Like if you're drowning in debt, then I don't really recommend trying to focus on investing. But one way I am able to kind of slowly put back money for other things besides what I'm currently working on with my main goal is through sinking funds. So this year I really wanted to get my first index fund and open up my Roth IRA, and I am proud, I should say, to say that I did open up my first Roth IRA, and that is a individual retirement account. It's just an additional way to save for retirement, and it doesn't have a minimum to open. So there's no required minimum that you need. Like if you're trying to buy a mutual fund, maybe like $1,000, but not with the Roth IRA. So I opened that thing with like $45. And so right now I'm just currently setting back little small amounts so that I can make contributions to my Roth IRA throughout the year. And this way I am getting my little investing fix while I'm working on my main goal, which is for a down payment on a duplex. My fifth sinking fund is for giving, or for charities, whatever, donations. I currently have about $60 in my sinking fund right now, and I do take $10 from each paycheck, so $20 a month, and I move it into this sinking fund. I don't wait until I get a specific amount. It's just, if something is really moving me to give or to donate, then I have the money to do so versus me putting myself back or having to adjust something in my budget because I want to make a donation. And this may be like for giveaways as well. I did take the giveaway that I had on my channel when I reached, I don't know, I think it was like 2,000 followers. I'm not quite sure. I did use the sinking fund to gift you guys the Ulta and Starbucks gift card, but I just feel like giving is really important. Giving is something that keeps everything, society in rotation, because other people are, maybe not able to have the resources that we do, and we do want to make sure that we're taking care of one another, and this is a way that I get my giving fix. My sixth sinking fund, which is super important, especially if you want to have a hot girl summer, is my summer sinking fund. Like, y'all, I said in my previous video, I don't know who I thought I was in March, but obviously I thought I was that girl, because my budget, I just don't know what happened. I did not come over budget, but I was not as strict as I normally am. And I really think that's because the sun is out. We've been cooped up in the house, it's been cold. The sun has been hiding behind the clouds. And in March, the sun was out. The sun is out today, and we know outside is expensive, but we still want to be outside. So a way in which you can be outside and still stay within budget is to set up a summer sinking fund. I have $238 in it right now. It was about $400, but obviously we have used some, especially on the weekends. But I will be adding little small amounts here and there to get it back up, so that when summer comes, we can go out, we can plan activities, and I don't have to worry about blowing my budget. The seventh sinking fund that I have is one that you all are no stranger to, and that is my rental property down payment, and I currently have $640 in this right now. This is through Ally, the Ally buckets, which I'm going to reset all of my sinking funds up using the Ally buckets eventually, but this one is in my Ally savings account. So I do want to save $10,000 for a duplex, and my plan is to live in one side, rent out the other side. Tenants rent will cover the mortgage, hopefully. And then I will continue to save, and hopefully, I am going to continue to invest in other rental properties. My 8th sinking fund is for clothes. And I discovered that I needed a clothing sinking fund because we all know kids grow like weeds, and it was like every time I turned around, my kids were outgrowing their shoes, their clothes, whatever, and I was always needing to spend money on clothes, and I didn't properly prepare for it, so it would knock me off budget and cause me to have to slow down on my goals, or it would just completely disrupt my other expenses. So with this sinking fund, and for many of my sinking funds, they don't have a specific target date like maybe my graduation fund. So this one is just ongoing. I will just send about here and there whenever I know a new season is coming. That way, whenever they need new clothes and they outgrow things, I already have the money set aside to cover those costs, and it keeps my budget in line. And my 9th sinking fund is for my rainy day fund. And I see a rainy day fund and an emergency fund as two completely different things. An emergency fund is just for emergencies, like, unexpected trips to the hospital, or your car breaks down so you can't get to work, things like that. But a rainy day fund helps to absorb any overages that you have in your budget, such as you going over budget because you were hungry whenever you went in the grocery store, so you went over, or you forgot a bill was coming, or a bill was higher than normal, like those little uh-ohs that we have from time to time. Those are rainy day worthy. I typically like to have like $80 to $100 set back in a rainy day fund. And with my Digit account, it automatically starts you off with a rainy day fund. So I have like $21 in that account. And then in my bills account, I have $10 that's taken from each paycheck, so $20 a month, and it's automatically deposited into my bills account, and I keep up with that amount using my budget Excel spreadsheet. And so that goes into like a little miscellaneous fund that still acts to absorb any overages that I have. And I am going to share with you guys how I am able to keep up with my amounts. So here you will see on the screen my Excel budget spreadsheet. And so I will make a separate tab for each paycheck. So every time I get paid, each payday has a separate tab. That way I know exactly how I'm spending the paycheck. And I will say with my budget, I don't really like change, and I'm salaried. So my income does not really, it doesn't change at all, basically. So I'm able to keep each budget the same because I use the half payment method, meaning that I half up my bills evenly between both paychecks. That way, personal funds stay the same. Whatever I'm sending for electric stays the same. Everything is the same each payday. So under each paychecks tab, whenever I have that line like miscellaneous or car repair, I'll add a note, and that comment or that note in that specific tab is going to tell me how much I have that's sitting in my bills account. That way I know how much of the balance goes to that specific thing. So you see here, I'm telling myself that I have this specific amount for my car repairs. That way I know how much I have to use, and this is just what works for me. I'm sure there may be an easier way, or if you're pen and paper, you just write it down and keep track of it that way. But that is how I'm able to know how much is in my bills account whenever it's not separated out into its own sinking fund. I do need to eventually withdraw it out of my bills account, but I don't really like touching my bills account. It's kind of like a set it and forget it type of thing. But I'm sure there's an easier way that I can do this. Yes. All right, so that wraps up my 9 sinking funds that I have and how much I have in each. Hopefully this gave you guys some good ideas on what type of sinking funds that you want to set up. And for those who are maybe like looking for more suggestions, leave your sinking funds in the comments below, and I will catch you all in the next video.